Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Friday, August 3rd and we are on the European account. We need to play, let's see, how many is that? 5? 4? 4? 4 more beasts. 4 more beasts and then we'll be done. We can move over to the Americas account. Still plenty of news to cover, so let's try to burn through it faster. Gamma Sutra has an article, Activision Blizzard exceeds the Q2 revenue goals thanks to in-game spending. So, despite everybody telling everybody not to buy loot boxes, people have been buying loot boxes and other in-game spending items. Activision Blizzard, of course, being, let's see, that would be Hearthstone, right? That would be Overwatch. That would be Heroes of the Storm, Diablo, and StarCraft, and World of Warcraft, and Destiny. So many games there that all kind of fall under the same category of being designed to, at least in general, have some kind of hook to cost you more money. Also, Call of Duty World War II, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Destiny 2. That's what this article is mentioning, but yeah, all of their games, everything from Activision or Blizzard, since they're the same company, are designed to rip you off, at least in part. Let's see, we've got a game on Steam called Numberline. Let's see, Numberline 3. Let's see, it says Numberline 3 is a hard but interesting puzzle game which will force your mind to work at all 100%. You relax, play, and listen to good soundtrack in the beginning, but after a few levels, the game becomes difficult and more exciting. This does not quite feel like a English native speaker, and then I'm seeing the trailer has some Russian words in it, so more indication that this is a Russian game. What this looks like is kind of like a Minesweeper game in a hexagon grid. It looks like a Unity one screen game. It's 15% off for $1.69. Yeah. I get no indication whatsoever as far as how you play this. Seems like there's always 2 hexagons on the screen at the same time. Seems like there's a limited number of levels that you'll be dealing with. Yeah, it does kind of feel like it's just a Minesweeper game. I don't know if we can call it anything else. Yep, looks boring. Let's move on to the next game. Next game we have on Steam is called Intelligence Trader. It's tagged as early access indie strategy management 2D game. It seems what you're doing here is you're picking you're picking spies that work for you in a management sim to send them off, I guess, on missions or coordinate missions. Right now, as I'm watching this, it seems like all it really does is show a bunch of pictures of people. I know there's more to it than this. There kind of has to be. There are missions with like a page of explanation. Alright, well, whatever this game is supposed to be, it's English and Russian again. Early access 30% off for $4.89. Whatever this game is supposed to be, though, it's clearly not depicting itself as an interesting or intriguing game. It's a game full of storyline intrigue, certainly, but the actual what you would do to play the game or the gameplay mechanic seems to be completely ignored or missing. So I'm gonna close Intelligence Trader and move on. Let's see, Gematsu has an article, Root Letter Last Answer and Root Letter 2 have been announced. Let's see, sequels to the previous Root Letter games, I assume. The original Root Letter is available now for the PS4, PS Vita, PC worldwide. It's also available for iOS and Android devices in Japan. So we can watch the teaser trailer. It's one of those, I think, Japanese high school horror games, if that makes any sense.
I hunt alone.
This one, do this, and then do this, and then return. Yeah, in this teaser, all I'm seeing is a bunch of full motion video of mostly scenes.
Reporting for duty.
Is this tagged as a visual novel? Yeah, it is. So it might be a horror visual novel series with live action footage. See, that would be certainly a different style of horror game if it is focused around just this horrible act that occurred, instead of there being a monster or some other creature or something that is part of the horrific things. Yeah, I have no idea. I have literally no idea what Root Letter is, so let's do a little research. If it's on PC, it's on PC, so I'll just search Root Letter, which is, it's like the square root and symbol with a letter on it. Alright, it's on Steam. It's mostly positive, 72% of 11 users in the last 30 days, and 83% positive, 237 users. I cannot believe I still haven't played enough minions. Enough beasts. See, the description is, when a letter is delivered 15 years late, you discover an old pen friend was involved in a murder before she disappeared. Traveling to her hometown, you must investigate the murder using her past letters as clues to uncover the disturbing truth. And looking at this is all anime characters. It's not live action. So the teaser was live action, but the game itself, at least the original game, is not. The animation looks rather good. It's from Kodakawa Games, which I believe is a animation studio of sort. It's in English, Japanese, and traditional Chinese, $19.99. And it's tagged Adventure Violent Visual Novel Anime. And yeah, it is a horror visual novel game that wouldn't be terrible to play. You know, frankly, I might be able to stick with a horror visual novel better than I could stick with a romance visual novel. Just because there's a mystery, particularly if there's like a murder mystery in it. Like, when you're just playing a romance visual novel, the only mystery is what is the right response to get you to befriend the person you're trying to befriend. And that's not usually that difficult to figure out. Moving on, we've got a game called Merlin Soccer. Looks like a cell phone port on Steam. And yeah, it's one of these, looks like a Unity physics-based game. It has some cutesy trolls and creatures, certainly, but for the most part, it's still just the standard, very, very basic cell phone game being ported to Steam. 40 achievements for $1.99 with no discount. And all it is, now that I'm seeing a playthrough of it, is kind of Angry Birds. You're shooting balls to hit flying creatures with one eye. Then you're trying to get the ball, I think, to the end screen, maybe.
Is someone injured?
Yeah, nothing interesting about Merlin Soccer. Okay. This. PC Gamer has an article. Capcom plans to explore more remakes following Resident Evil 2. The developer expects the RE2 remake to be in the million seller class of titles. So,
mind if I roll need?
Inherently, this is probably Japanese logic failing them once again. They often feel like games are gonna make a lot more money. The same is true for movie. It's also certainly true for like anime too. Is that they don't have a realistic idea of what the market is like, particularly outside of Japan. Remember that Japanese culture is built around gypping the consumer quite a bit, so things are extremely expensive. Things, box sets, limited editions, things like that, very common. And I think Capcom, despite the fact that Capcom has worked in the United States and the world for decades and decades now, I think they're being ridiculous if they think that an RE2 remake is going to be a million seller. I would say you're closer to a 300,000 to 500,000 seller. There's certainly reasons why you might think that it sells a lot more than a remake normally would, but Capcom is almost certainly gonna charge $60 for this game, and it's at least the second or third time the game has been remade in some way. And while there is fandom for RE2, I don't know if it's that big of a fandom. So I just don't agree with that. But ignoring that for a moment, if it does sell a million, or if they're just happy with sales regardless of what it is, Capcom will make more remakes? I guess good. There's a lot of Code Veronica and Resident Evil 3 and Resident Evil 4 certainly could use some remakes made to them. So yeah, hopefully. I guess the only thing to really say is we shall see. This is, I guess, an article that doesn't really have much to say, or much that you can respond to, really. It's like, we'll see. We'll see if RE2 comes out and is good, because it might be a terrible game. We'll see if it sells 1 million. Honestly, if it does do really well, and RE2 is made by the Japanese side of Capcom instead of the American side or the Western side of Capcom, then that will probably only embolden plans. Win a game with Shramlin and Warlock. Darn it. Is this the Shaman? No, this is the Shaman. That probably would only embolden the Japanese side to make a more Japanese Resident Evil 8. And then Resident Evil 8 won't be good, in my opinion. I think, for the most part, Capcom's Western teams need to take over the Resident Evil series. Maybe get a little bit of help, but most of the ideas, most of the level layout, most of the gameplay mechanics all need to come from a new team. And that's more of a criticism, I think, of Capcom's Japan department more than just Japanese people in general. There's a weird point here too, where I still don't really feel like Resident Evil 1 has been remade properly, so I could almost see them going back and saying, hey, let's do Resident Evil 1 again. Like, let's do it as a complete remake and instead of just remasters. PC Gamer has a different article, how Hero U avoided disaster to resurrect 90s adventure games nostalgia. Despite a lengthy, somewhat troubled development cycle, Hero U is a worthy successor to Sierra's quest for glory. This is pretty much just an advertisement for Hero U. Let's ask the basic questions then. Hero U. Is it on Steam? Can I buy this game? Let's see, apparently they had one Kickstarter, then they had a second Kickstarter in 2015. Seems like they were aping a lot of what Double Fine was doing with their Kickstarters. Double Fine 2 also having some slight problems with quality with Broken Age and delivering it on time. So I guess the general story you could take away from this, just as I'm skimming this article, is don't just use one example as the thing to ape, and don't just follow Double Fine because Double Fine got lucky. If you were going to use any example on Kickstarter, you should just randomly pick a Kickstarter project and follow it and see what happens with it. I think you'll find that the vast majority of them fail. Yeah, there's nothing in this engine, nothing in this article that mentions where this game is, if it's available for purchase or what. So it's a utterly useless article at the very least, because I can't do anything with it. I can't act or react or wishlist a game or look at a price and purchase it. Moving on, Gamasutra has an article, get a job Republic, that's Republique developer Camouflage, spelled Camouflag, is hiring a gameplay programmer. This is a position in Bellevue, Washington. If Republic is the game I'm thinking about, yeah, they certainly could use a better gameplay programmer. I think that would be accurate.
I told ya so.
Hit that. Next game we have on Steam is called Shy Chess. Shy Chess is a puzzle game where the shy girls must cross the chessboard avoiding the danger zones marked by the chess pieces. It says THE no space chess pieces attack pattern. Go through room to room to discover more about Shy Girl's history. Escape with as many of them as you can. This is an interesting idea because it's basically a puzzle game where the puzzle is, do you understand how chess pieces move? Can you manipulate your way through the puzzle? Let's see. Destroy.
Chakari kill trespassers.
And let's see if I hit this. Do this. Then the turn. So immediately I would say, yeah, I kind of want to play this game Shy Chess. But then there's this twist. Like, the characters, the Shy Girls, are a twist on Shy Guys from Super Mario Brothers. Except for the girls. Except for they're not girls, they're anime girls in skin-tight bikinis. And this game is tagged with sexual content and nudity. So then I'm in a weird position where here's a puzzle game I'd like to play, but then I also may have to censor some things. There's one screenshot here where the Shy Girl gets stabbed by a soldier through the back with a sword coming out of her chest. But the most part of the game is just little 8-bit pixel top-down perspectives.
What to do?
Seems like there's some other characters and maybe a small amount of visual novel-esque elements. And then it seems like there's a collection of, how many is that? 11 female characters that you can play as. It's a weird combination. See, if this was just an RPG Maker game, I would dismiss it immediately. But the puzzle mechanic is interesting. On the other hand, this is also exactly what I've complained about in the past, of them just not being confident in their games, so they're throwing in nudity for no reason.
Engaging TC-130 mental dislocator.
Yeah, I don't know about this one. It's 10% off for $1.79. I'm gonna have to wait and see. I'm gonna have to wait and see what the reviews say on this one. Like, it says it has 63 levels and 4 endings, so you're not gonna be hyperly committed to it anyways. So yeah, Shy Chess. It's from the developer who apparently has only released a demo for one other game called Arene. E-R-I-N-Y-E. Let's try this custom shaman. And apparently Arene is an RPG, straight up RPG, and Arene has the Shy Girl character as one of the characters, but then there are several other characters that don't seem like they're in Shy Chest. It's almost like an interesting way to introduce a bigger game, is release smaller games for each of the characters, so people already have a affinity for those characters. I don't know if that would work, honestly.
Job's done.
And this game is in English and Spanish. But it's just a demo for the Arene, where Shy Chest is its own thing. And the full name on the thumbnail is Shy Chest Arene short game. It's a weird one, definitely, but I'll put it on the wish list and keep an eye on it. Let's see. Wow. I really can't get away from the sexual content games today, can I? Next game we have is called Jelly Once More. It's tagged indie, nudity, sexual content, puzzle, story rich. Jelly Once More is a combination of a first-class delusion and simple but catchy game mechanics. Relax, admire beautiful bodies, and forget about your problems. Let's see, how does this game work? I'm seeing a 4x4 isometric grid on the left and an anime girl on the right. I don't think the trailer actually showed me any of the gameplay. It's just a trailer. Seems like there's 3 characters in the game, which is a small collection.
What to do?
And how does the game work? How does the game work? Literally none of these screenshots explain the gameplay mechanics. Let's see, 14 achievements, 30% off for $4.19. Apparently you combine jellies and yeah, there's literally no explanation here about how this game works. It is a 2048 game. It's a fun enough 2048 clone game that seems to have an uncomfortable emphasis on breast expansion, according to the reference. Like, yeah, big bust. Seen a lot of big busted girls today too. Elemental. There you go. Yeah, can't recommend Jelly Once More. Is this the same developer though that did the other game, Mojo? No, it isn't. It's a developer who's released a bunch of games that are either rated mixed or negative, and most of them are negative. One of them is mixed for the games that are rated. So apparently somebody is copying somebody on the idea of let's see. I could do it on this. But I could also do this, and then this, and then do this, and then do this.
What's your poison?
And then do this.
And a price on your head.
Do this.
Desperate seas I roam. Let me go home.
Several rush cards, I guess I got there. I may have actually transformed it into something with... Nope, I didn't. I didn't transform it to anything that had charge. Next game we have on Steam is called Bullets in Space. It looks terrible. It's flying a spaceship around a random assortment of things. It's just a too simplistic looking of a game. 40% off for $1.79. And English and Portuguese Brazil this time. Yeah, nothing catching my eye in Bullets in Space. At least the sex games catch my eye. If you can say nothing else about them. 1 damage. Freeze it. Give me a random elemental. And attack. And totems. Let's see, next game we have on Steam is called Pirate Mosaic Puzzle Caribbean Treasures. So, it's a mosaic puzzle, meaning that there's puzzle pieces that you apply to fill in the puzzle. Basically like a jigsaw puzzle, except for they aren't cut like jigsaw puzzle pieces, they're just cut as much larger pieces. It seems like an overly simplistic puzzle game, honestly. And for $2.99 with 40% off, it's not on the level that I would like it to be. Let's see.
The first wish is free.
This. Yeah, I have no interest in Pirate Mosaic Puzzle, so we can close that. GameIndustry.biz has an article: digital collectible card games will generate 1.5 billion revenue in 2018. Super Data Report forecasts global rise to 2 billion by 2020. Hearthstone certainly taking a chunk of that. Yeah, they're being like Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! I suppose also taking a chunk of that. Next game we have on Steam is called Fairy Rescue. It's a simplistic looking game, looks like a cell phone port. You play as a fairy. Apparently you have a time limit to tap on the screen and fly up. I don't know how this changes anything. Maybe you have to get very precise on tapping the screen to fly upward. That's about the only thing. This game in particular has the exact same troll that I saw in the last game that looked like a cell phone port. So there's certainly something going on here. And this game is from 4Kids, the makers of the Vicky Spotter games. So either there have been some new assets put on the Unity store that people have chosen to asset flip at the same time. Or the same developer has used art for 2 different games, which doesn't make a game look unique, certainly. Fairy Rescue is 40% off for $1.79. I don't see any reason why. Even if you were going to play a cell phone-like game, why play it on a PC? Why not just play it on a cell phone? I doubt there's very many people at all that have PCs and not a either iOS or Android phone at this point. Moving on, Gematsu has an article. The romance visual novel AK Otaku Kanojo is coming to the Switch. That's A-KEI space Otaku OTAKU space Kanojo KANOJO. So this is a group of girls in the Media Art Club, who I assume that club is really just a bunch of girls watching anime in a Japanese school, and so yeah. See, and that's just a weird thing in general from a Japanese perspective. For Japanese people to be obsessed with anime, particularly a girls only club, probably because it's girls only school, it just doesn't seem realistic. Man, I'm not getting that victory I want. What was the other character I wanted a victory from? Warlock. Just see if we have any friend requests. Do have something over here. What does this do? Find the gathering. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's really any more information though. It's just like 3 pictures. If it's coming to Switch, it's probably not too extreme.
Gul'dan versus Jaina.
You asked for it.
Your soul shall be mine.
Let's see.
Hello.
So, I believe, if I'm, yes, here it is, August 2nd. Adam Sessler, known as the one of the 2 hosts for X-Play, probably the oldest and possibly most respected person as far as a video game journalist. Apparently on August 2nd his mother died, and let's see. Right now he is the co-founder of Spike Trap Incorporated, analytics for the entertainment industry. Before, he was also using his name to advertise the Friday the 13th game. In general, he's in a odd position. He's kind of too old and doesn't have the energy to do the massive amount of work that I think he'd want to do, or many people would want him to do, because he was, after he left X-Play, he was running basically an entire website, as he was in charge of an entire website for video games for a while. I don't think there's really too much to say other than his mother died. He's tweeting a lot of things out. I follow him, but I have him muted, so somebody else mentioned him, and that's how I even saw that. Let's see if we can get any actual information. Adam Sessler's wife also is a lawyer, so he kind of doesn't have to work, he just kind of wants to.
Sure, send the link. Immortality.
But yeah, the most interesting thing about him, besides his narrating style from X-Play and his, I think his reviews were pretty good, but if I went back and looked, I might find that they're actually not. So I think I'll just opt not to check. Yeah, there's nothing here specifically that says how she passed. He does go on for a while where he's talking about her on Twitter, which I guess is a nice way to eulogize her. Let's see. Adam Sessler's co-presenter was Morgan Webb. She's gone on to kind of work in the company too. Inherently, I guess they both are also great examples of some of the stuff that I rant about ethics in video game journalism, to the point of, if you are the critic, if you are a news reporter, you probably should never cross that line and work for a video game company ever in the rest of your life. It just doesn't look proper at the very minimum. And both of them have, and many other video game journalists have, and usually they take a little bit of time so it doesn't seem so obvious, but it does happen a lot. It feels like the equivalent of a news reporter writing very positive articles about, say, Tesla cars, and then a month later they're working for Tesla's PR department. That seems fishy. That doesn't seem like an ethical thing was happening there. It seems like there was a kickback and a bribe. Or the worst case example is a legislator, a senator or congressman is writing the laws and controlling a company, or not controlling a company, as often is the case, and then a month later they become a lobbyist for that company. Or, you know, go the other way, the FTC commissioner right now, Ajit Patai, was a AT&T or a Verizon lobbyist, and now he's in charge of the FTC, and immediately he's destroying net neutrality and doing everything to help AT&T and the big internet service providers, phone companies. But I guess certainly it's not time to bring up that conversation with Adam Sessler. Like, even though I still have some respect from him in my heart, so I don't dislike him at all. I'd love to see him just running a little website, YouTube channel, reviewing games once in a while. But I also would love to see him not kill himself by overworking. It's kind of a shame that Giant Bomb never picked him up. They did have him on once, but like only once, so I guess that's kind of all you get from that. Moving on, Gamasutra has an article, Unity partners with Google to introduce AdMob integration for mobile games. So expect to see a lot more mobile games with Google ads in them. That's not a good thing for the consumer, but it's probably in the end a good thing for the consumer because it doesn't feel like a good thing, but it probably is, because it tries to build some kind of marketplace out of the Google Play Store and the iOS Play Store, where there really isn't right now. It's basically impossible to make a product and make money and be seen on those stores. So yeah, that's certainly an issue. We're now at the Americas account. It's taken way too long to get to this. And I have to remember also that hero power 20 times. I can see all the cards, so I need to make... I'm gonna stay up all night probably looking at all the new Boomsday cards and just looking at all of them. And if I can see the cards now, it's probably not too far away from the expansion happening, although it said August 30th was gonna be when you could no longer purchase this. Yeah, this one. It says August 30th right now. And what was the Everybody Gets In Here bundle? Ooh, the game just glitched. I could have purchased a bundle I shouldn't have been able to purchase. Interesting. Let's see if we can bring that back up again. Nope. Interesting. That's an interesting little glitch. Alright. So what are we doing? Shaman or Warlock? Okay, let's try Classical Warlock and Casual. Alright. So I'm looking at a game on Steam called Welcome to ... Chichester 2, The Spy of Chichester, and the Ego Tourist Guide. And
your soul shall be mine.
This is some kind of weird... It says it's an adventure, violent, sexual content visual novel. I don't know what kind of game this is supposed to be. And it's only in English. It's 40% off for 59 cents. So, yeah, I have no idea. No idea whatsoever as to what's going on here. Welcome to Chichester 1 is mixed reviews at 57% of 14 user reviews, and that game is free. The other games developed by this developer have no reviews. It seems like this is just like some kind of random assortment of games. Almost, I almost wonder if this is just a weird, weird stolen content or something type.
Almost out of time.
The thing about this, more than anything, is it seems like they wanted to make a visual novel, but they wanted to set it in England, Chichester, C-H-I-C-H-E-S-T-E-R, which I believe is a part of England. Half of these screenshots don't have any characters on screen, and they look like they're just pictures of random things in the background. And then they have like anime characters on the foreground. It's just some weird hodgepodge of content. Like, I can't recommend it. It's too disjointed of a game, at least visually. Alright, next game we have on Steam is called The Navigator. It's a free-to-play adventure indie casual game. It seems like The Navigator is a 2D puzzle platformer where the player assumes control of a young boy traveling the high seas. The mysterious world around him is filled with floating rocks that have various celestial properties, and the player must help the boy align these celestial rocks to lead him on his journey. So it looks a little bit like the Little Prince as far as what you would expect. There's people walking around different planets. And it seems like you have to sometimes align a sun, and sometimes you're drawing a rope or something. I don't know how you play this game. So you ride the ship, you climb up from the ship onto the planet, and then you use the planet to grapple hook. Honestly, this is like crazy enough looking of a game to actually be worth giving a try to. Yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on this one. This one's free anyway, so let's see. Yeah, the Navigator is a serene puzzle. The ideas from the game concept sprang from the Pixar short film La Luna, focusing on creating gameplay revolving around navigating small planets with an anchor. With the help of artist Sarah Baugh, the art style of the game gradually took shape with references to Antoine de Saint-Exupéry's The Little Prince and the Swedish Moomins.
I give up.
So yeah, that's exactly what I thought. This game was inspired by this Little Prince and some other things. And I guess if I just don't pay attention to the game, I can get victories, which usually that is not the case. Alright, hero power now. Just play a little ranked, play a little spiteful priest, and play. Let's see, what language is this game in? Not English. There's a Chinese only game called The Redemption of Pancakes. It looks like it's a hand-drawn, like food, cook serve, delicious type game. It looks pretty awful. Still have tons of news, so don't worry if you think we're finishing early. It's not gonna happen. Let's see, Gematsu has an article. The Midnight Sanctuary launches September 6th in Japan. It's a 3D animation novel for the PS4, Switch, and PC via Steam. While a Western release date was not nice, it will likely launch within the same window. Let's see, and let's see. It seems like the demo is already here.
Is someone injured?
So if the demo is here, I imagine the original game will come out here. It's an interesting animation style because it's like flat cardboard cutout things, almost like a South Park animation style if you were a Japanese person making characters and not making something like South Park. I have no idea though as far as what kind of game this actually is. It says it's a 3D novel game, which I guess that inherently just means it's a yeah, it seems like to me that's probably a VR version of a visual novel. Yeah, I think that's all it really is. interesting idea at least.
Are the shadows right away.
So pretty much I can close this until there's a Western announcement. Well, I see it on what's on Steam. More and more, I definitely think about just not having any games talked about even until they actually are on Steam. That certainly would require more pre-work than I probably want to spend time on though. Moving on, Gematsu has an article. Gensokyo Defenders is coming to Switch this fall in Japan. That's Gensokyo. Let's see. It's a tower defense game, apparently. So, if this is going to the Switch, it's probably the eShop for Switch, and so it might come over to the West. I hear the Nintendo Switch eShop for the West is pretty bad, full of random garbage. So I don't think they're doing very much curation though. Let's see. Gematsu has another article. Tokyo Dark Remembrance announced for the PS4 and Switch, due out in the winter of 2018. Tokyo Dark, the original version, is rated 86% positive in the last 30 days as a anime visual novel horror female protagonist game. So Tokyo Dark Remembrance is a complete version of the game that rebuilds the parts of the story that could not be told in the original. So it is pretty much the same game, but with things being cut out. So that puts me in a weird position now. It's like, do I want to play this game on Steam, or do I want to wait until there's a PC release of the new version? So I'm gonna have to double check and see if that game is wishlisted and potentially unwishlisted and change it to maybe a follow, which I don't ever look at the follow list. It's too difficult to even get to it on Steam. Moving on, Your Gamer has an article. The Walking Dead's new online tool lets you redo past choices to import the final season. Clementine will remember that. So Telltale's Story Builder can be accessed using a web browser and is a surprisingly swish affair, apparently is what they're saying. So the thing there is, how long will the Story Builder take you? Like, looking at this,
must consider.
It seems like what it's gonna do is show you some video as an advertisement of the Telltale game.
Let me change your mind.
And how many of the important things does it really matter? Like, I'm thinking about Telltale Walking Dead Season 1. There probably is only one or two important decisions in the entire game. Let's see. So it's saying, did we save Doug or did we save Carly? I think I saved Carly. And then they've redrawn in a pencil sketch animation style. Yeah, I did save Carly because Carly is the and then Carly just got killed. did you leave Lily behind or did you let her stay with us? I think we left Lily behind at that point. I may have saved Doug actually. But I don't think any of those decisions really are going to play any part in the main game.
Free me.
You still really would have had to play the game to get the vast majority of the story. So then the last part of season 1 is always keep moving, stay away from the cities, keep your hair short. Was like what were the last lines of the main character in the first season. Let's see. And then, did you let Lee turn or did you shoot him? And I said I let him turn. Yeah, that episode 5 of Walking Dead was pretty good. But then I think season 2 is pretty bad in general. And I don't know how much time is they're gonna put for like the DLC or any of that stuff.
Pinch of death cup, heel of shoe.
Yeah, I don't even remember what I did in the
Obey.
in the second season. Did I shoot Kenny or did I let Jane die? Let's say I shot Kenny. I don't even remember. What's interesting here is how you're gonna have a save file for season 3 that relates to any of this. So, in season 2, Clementine gets this baby they're taking care. Did I stay with Jane or did I went alone? I guess I stayed with Jane. Almost feels like season 2 could have gone in several different directions. And see, now I think I'm at some season 3 of The Walking Dead that I didn't even play. So not only have I not played The Walking Dead the final season, I haven't played the Walking Dead season 3, and they are totally skipping all of the side quests. The Michonne update, the DLC, the 100 days. Yeah, they broke it down to barely 10 questions there. Which I guess fair enough. It says, my Clem is brutal. You're a fighter relying on force to get your way. Experience has taught you to be the violent world demands a violent response. Download and share your results. Compare your results with your friends. Pre-order the final season. Use your Clem for the final season. Sign into your account. So, yeah, there's only about 6 questions there. If you didn't like the major decisions or weren't certain what the major decisions were, then I guess that Telltale tool will help you with that. Really didn't have time to deal with that whole thing. We've got a game on Steam called Super Flail. It's not very good at animation style. You're playing as a character that is spinning around to make a flail around a giant, well, a giant mace basically.
The light shall bring victory.
Too simplistic of graphics to catch my attention. It's a free game, so the price is right, I guess. Let's see. Next game we have is called Watching Delusion. It says it's a puzzle game. It seems like it's a puzzle game that is using some pretty creepy imagery of eyeballs that you're trying to open up or close. I'm not even sure what you're trying to do there. See, that's not even my turn. It's them taking their time.
Is someone injured?
This
Is someone injured?
in turn. So it's a 2D puzzle game with a horror aspect. You know, the puzzle part of this isn't too bad. Graphics aren't great. It's 99 cents, however. I think I'll keep an eye on Watching Delusion. It's certainly not going to be for everybody. Easy enough to say that. And it is basically just a one-screen Unity, kind of like a cell phone game. But, you know, it looks alright. And the other game by this developer is 91% positive with 83 user reviews. It's called the Psycho Flux Collection, which seems to be a collection of several other games that are not from this developer but from the same publisher. See, some of these bundles can be overly highly rated, though. There's ways to trick people on that.
Right away.
Next game we have on Steam is called Return. It says take the lost soul to its home. It looks like it's a very, very blurry CGA screen platformer, kind of like Super Meat Boy. It's free to play according to that. Yeah, it's a free game, so the price is right, but it's just not visually appealing, so I wouldn't want to play it. And generally, any free game, doesn't matter what it is there's not anything that I need to do about it. Just point it out. If you want to play it, play it. If you don't, don't. Let's see. Next game we have on Steam is called Space Exile. It's a shooter bullet hell game according to the tags. I'm looking at it and trying to see. It seems like you're kind of in a third-person perspective over the shoulder shooting, so it's almost like first-person shooter in a spaceship, but it's also kind of a kind of a 2D flying towards the top of the screen shooter. It's like a mix of the two. Well, two genres I really don't like are shooters or bullet hells that much. So it's $4.99. I don't see anything in here that would convince me that I want to play a shooter like that, a space shooter or a bullet hell game. So I'll close that tab. Let's see, more and more. Use the hero abilities. PC Gamer has an article, Yakuza 6, The Song of Life may be coming to PC. Sega's most recent financial statement suggests that a PC release is on the way. This is just Yakuza 6. Basically, The Song of Life is just a subtitle, it's not a side game. So, yeah, nothing else you can really take from that article. Let's hit this one. And hit
Your magic shall
that
not
one.
save you.
We've got a game on Steam called Creative Destruction. It's an asset flip of Fortnite. It looks relatively good, but that really means nothing. You're never going to get a player base. People aren't going to be playing Creative Destruction instead of Fortnite. Creative Destruction is $2.99. Fortnite is free. At least the Battle Royale mode is. So there's really nothing else to say there. If it's not an asset flip, which I think it is, it's definitely a clone. Let me see if this game is in English. Yes, it is in English and Chinese. We have a game called Perfect Memento Touhou Question. Touhou question. This looks like it's a mostly drawn in pencil sketch black and white animation, and it seems like it is it's like 150 questions or maybe more about the perfect memento of Touhou, I guess, which is some kind of anime or something. Never heard of it. So unless you're a fan of that game, let's see. Caution, this game is not suitable for those who don't know about Touhou that much and don't even know what the most of these questions mean. It means you don't have that much Touhou knowledge to play this game. In that case, this game is not for you, sorry. So yeah, I don't know Touhou that much to know what that means. Oh. Let's see, moving on. PC Gamer has some SSDs on sale with their affiliate links.
You asked for it.
The light shall bring victory.
PC Gamer has an article. Colin Kaepernick's name was removed from a song lyric in Madden 19 soundtrack. They apparently got confused and they didn't have the right to Colin Kaepernick's name, to use his name in the game, but apparently that didn't apply to the song that it was in, so they shouldn't have edited it, but apparently the legal department got a little overzealous and they edited it. I don't really think that there's anything to it other than that. It's just people were upset. Like, people were upset that the song was edited, I guess. Like, I don't know anything about Kaepernick, so I don't know if he's particularly controversial as a football player or something. Let's see. Yes, it does say Kaepernick began protesting police violence and racial profiling in 2006 by first sitting then kneeling during the NFL's pre-game performances. In 2017, Kaepernick opted out of his contract with the San Francisco 49ers, making him a free agent, though he has not since been signed to a team despite being a far better quarterback than many of the others who were signed. In November 2017, Kaepernick filed a grievance against the NFL, claiming team owners colluded to blacklist him from the sport due to his protest. That's the most I can surmise about the entire situation without wanting to put my fist to a wall, so I'll stop there. And that was all a quote from PC Gamer. So yeah, I thought he might be one of the people kneeling, but I didn't know. Like, I don't think any of this has anything to do with any of that, though. And the quick response by EA, at best, worst case scenario, this was an attempt for EA to do something sneaky, they got caught immediately and recanted their sneaky attempt. More likely, in my opinion, it was just an overzealous legal decision. Let's see if this is in English. Nope. We have another Chinese game. It's probably a visual novel. It's tagged as an RPG casual. It's all in Chinese. It's apparently Words Cannot Convey is the name of it. Looks like a visual novel to me. Let's close that tab. We don't need to talk about games that I can't even read.
Is someone injured?
Because I doubt there's too many people that speak Chinese that are listening to me right now anyways, or can read Chinese. Let's see. Gamasutra has an article. Minecraft studio head says developers and studios benefit from generous time off policies. Generally speaking, everybody benefits from generous time off policies. There's really no reason not to have it. The only time it makes sense is when you're running a McDonald's and you're such a bad manager that you're constantly losing employees and not capable of replacing them. Most jobs are more than capable to hire 1 or 2 extra people if they tried. And time off just... if people need time off, they're going to take it off one way or the other. So they're either going to not show up when you expect them versus them not showing up when they tell you. It's much better for them to tell you. And really it just kind of boils down to, if you treat your employees like adults and reasonably, you're much more likely for them to act like adults and be reasonable. One of my major regrets for some of my previous jobs is that I personally took their attendance policies too seriously. Because every attendance policy comes with the threat of being fired, but it doesn't really happen. And frankly, there were days when I was sick. There was days when I would have been better off just not going to work, calling in sick. And I probably did come in ill and probably infected other people. But parental leave, elder care leave, sabbatical are some of the things that you mentioned here. I don't know if you want to get down to the point of saying that the game Minecraft would be better if they didn't have so much leave. I don't agree with that idea at all. But also, I wouldn't say that Minecraft is just the best programmed game ever, but it's pretty well programmed. Also, Mojang is this company, so they're in Sweden, so they're probably already being rather generous with the amount of time off compared to the United States, which overworks employees to death.
Let me change your mind.
Tortola, preserve us!
Let's see. Moving on. I still have so much news. I need to break this up into a 4th episode. We have a game on Steam called The Rabbit and the Owl. That's an interesting name.
Someday I'll be just
A
like you.
indie puzzle platformer puzzle co-op. Does it have single player too? Yes. Can you really play by yourself? So there is a character that it can be only in the light parts of the puzzle, and a character that can only be in the dark parts of the puzzle. So it's positive and negative space, certainly.
Obey.
Keep on playing this. Well, I kind of like the thumbnail on this game. I kind of like the idea of the name. The actual game is really just a puzzle platformer. And it's not impressive. The thing they've done here by having all the black and white as a artistic style is they've left no room for any detail or nuance, where I would like to see some greenery or some rocks or something like that. There's kind of nothing like that in the foreground. The Rabbit and the Owl is $11.99, and I really think they just kind of fumbled the way that it depicts its gameplay. Alright. It's time. We're at 20 minutes over. Anyways, I need to use my hero power 7 more times. And I just need to break up this recording and make a 4th recording. So that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me, friend me on Steam and gift me a game or a gift card, or send me a Steam code through Steam Twitter Direct. That's it. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.